A draft is coming. No, it's not. Now, while my time in service doesn't mean I know everything about the military and what's gonna happen, let me tell you what I do know. I have not had a draft since Vietnam for a reason. We have had 8 major wars since Vietnam, and we haven't had a draft since, because we have been overpowered in the military since Vietnam, because people have been willingly enlisting, which means people were voluntarily and have been voluntarily enlisting, and nobody has been forced to enlist in the United States military. Because we are overpowered, we do not need to draft people. The draft only happens when the service members who volunteered to be in the military start to die out. That is when the United States military begins to draft civilians. You know how hard it is to kick anybody out of the military? You might have heard of all the people that got out of the military when they refused to get the COVID vaccinations. However, they voluntarily got themselves out because they were given the ultimatum of either get vaccinated or get out. They were not discharged. Discharge means kicked out. When I used to work alongside JAG in S1 services, which is also human resources in the military, I would get the packets of all the people that continuously failed their physical fitness test. When I mean continuously, I mean for like a year or 2 years straight. And even then, they were not getting kicked out. They were being given more chances to pass their physical fitness test, even though they were failing the fitness test and they were overweight. The only time anybody gets kicked out of the military is when they have misconduct, like sexual assault, abuse, DUI, substance abuse, and so on. So you really have to mess up for you to get out of the military, to get kicked out of the military. As of right now, the United States president is kicking out a lot of the transgender service members. To think if the military wasn't overpowered, the president would just be kicking people out, because a willing body is an able body. I did forget to mention that the United States military does kick out people when they have medical problem. Any medical problem that makes you non-deployable. So no, a draft is not going to happen anytime soon, even if we had another world war. And if a draft were to happen, they don't just go after a specific group of people like Mexicans. They go after able bodies, men that have able bodies, and they begin from the ages of 18 to 25. And once they die out, they go from 26 to 30, then they die out, and then they just go up and up and up the numbers. In order for that to happen, the select reserve has to die out. So real quick, this is how it happens. Current active service members die out. The United States calls in the selective reserves, which are the people that were in the military and have got out. Once they die out, that's when we call in the civilians, which is called a draft. And then they go based off age, like I mentioned before.